Hi, I'm Scott with Android Guys.
And I'm Luke.
You're hanging with the guys.
Yeah, you are.
This is the weekly show.
Mm-hmm.
We break it down into a couple of segments for people. Up ahead on this week's episode, we're going to unbox a couple of things. I will unbox 2 sets of headphones. One will be the Nothing Ear One Earbuds, and then I'll unbox the Shokz, which is formerly Aftershocks.
Right.
The OpenRun Pro. These are bone conducting.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Headphones. So a little different.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be coming up. And then later in the episode, Luke will be reviewing 2 things.
Yep.
The OnePluds Buds Z2.
Z2s. Yep.
And a pet treat.
Yeah, the CENGCEN pet camera treat dispenser.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what's on deck here for this episode. If this is your first time listening, subscribe to us. We would really appreciate that.
Yep.
If you have any questions, feedback, if you're watching this on YouTube, however you're consuming it, let us know how we're doing. Subscribe for notifications, share, do all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
You know how to do it.
Yep.
But do it for us. Please. Luke, what you been up to, man?
You know what? I got back from a little vacation. I went and visited some friends in San Antonio. It was nice because it was a vacation where there was nothing planned. Like it was just relaxing, you know, as 2 of my best friends that I hadn't seen for a couple years, because of distance and travel and, just because of the pandemic. So we got to sit around and it was, you know, a couple moments before we're into laughing and giggling and silly times, and ate some good Texas food and pretty much it. Played some board games, watched some shows. But it was nice. It was relaxing.
Just unplugged.
Yeah, just unplugged, and it was cool waking up and not having a plan for the day. It was just like, what do we want to do? We could kind of do whatever. So
now they live there?
They both live in San Antonio. Well, Shokz is like right outside San Antonio, or Cibolo. There's a couple little burgs outside, but it's pretty much San Antonio. But
so
yeah,
there's nothing for them to really get excited about because they live there.
Right.
To say, we have to do this.
Right.
It's more
well,
of,
and
Luke, would you want to check these things out?
Yeah, and with, you know, COVID's still a thing, so we weren't really trying to go to do like touristy things necessarily, or, you know, go to big crowd places or anything like that. The biggest crowds we got into was, you know, some restaurants were kind of busy sometimes, but that's about it. But other than that, man, I was, you know, it's cold here. We got when I was gone, we got dumped with our first big snowfall of the season.
Yeah, you missed that.
I didn't, because I was down there wearing shorts and a t-shirt in like 70s. It was awesome.
We're getting a little bit today.
Yeah.
Got some yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up, I think, about 14 inches.
Ugh.
All at once.
Yeah, I'm so glad I wasn't here.
It was a long day.
Yeah.
Of just nonstop snow.
Right.
And it was around a holiday, so there was no school anyways.
Right.
But I don't feel like they wanted to do anything road-wise around here.
Well, they canceled the school the next day, so Monday was a holiday, and then snow was so bad, at least my kids' school was canceled on that Tuesday.
I have a little conspiracy theory as to why they called off the day before and made it so easy to do.
Oh, yeah?
It was one extra day on a weekend to give a 4-day kind of separation for people who may or may not have COVID, and to kind of isolate a little bit. And if you can afford to give a day, give the day without having to do it later on, or, you know.
Sure.
But I was thinking it's a good opportunity to kind of piggyback on top of that.
Sure. Yeah, give people a little bit extra time at home to maybe recover from something. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't want to say maybe not conspiracy, but
I
had an idea.
Yeah.
If I'm a superintendent
of
a school system,
and
I'm
it's
thinking
just so happened to dump 14 inches. Why not?
Yeah. Let's give the kids an extra day.
Sure.
Give the teachers, you know, anybody who needs that extra day.
Right. Well, it was nice, at least in our school district. I know. So the Friday before that holiday weekend, the kids didn't have school also. but the
Oh.
teachers had in-service.
Okay.
So maybe that extra day kind of gave the teachers a little bit of a 4-day weekend when the kids got 5 days.
Sure.
So everybody, it's a win-win for everybody.
It was really cold while you were gone too.
Yeah, I bet.
It was. Well, no, you came back.
I came back
just
to
in time
cold.
for the 2 and
Yeah.
the Sub-Zero. Yeah.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it now looks like it feels.
Yeah. Well, it
outside.
looks like winter,
And if-
like in
and-
Ohio. Winter in Ohio.
Yeah.
Because
Some of the snow piles, as I was pulling out the other day, I looked at them. I thought, this feels like the snow piles I remember growing up.
yeah,
Always kind of having
yeah,
to go outside and play and have the just the infinite world of exploring snow
yeah.
and having these mountains.
Did you ever? Did you end up watching that 8-Bit Christmas movie with
did
Neil
not.
Patrick Harris? So there's a part in that. It's basically a love letter to our childhood.
Mhm.
You know, if you grew up early 80s kind of thing, early 90s. But there's a part in that movie where the kids are playing like King of the Mountain on a snow.
Okay, yeah.
Snow, and I remember doing that. Like whenever, the school parking lot would get plowed and there was a huge pile, like
Mhm.
either before or after school, we would just play like who can get to the top and stay on the top.
Yep.
And you'd roll or fall down that, and nobody cared because you're falling into snow, and it was good times.
Yep. Yeah, we used to do that. We had a couple. There was a business that was at the end of our block.
Yeah,
So they would the way they would plow it in and out of there, they would have they were strategic about it.
sure,
So there were some places that were just like 4 houses up.
right,
It's a whole parking lot full of snow
right.
in one area.
Yeah.
So that was always, you would see the snowfall and then you look outside and you're like, ooh, I wonder what,
Yeah.
that looks like.
Did you ever like do the dig out kind of igloo kind of thing?
We,
All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it was just, in hindsight, looking at it now, it's just like a tiny little hole.
Yeah, but it seemed like I could live in here.
Yeah.
This is like an apartment.
Yep. I'm going to spend the rest of my day in here. Just kind of crawl in and have to back out because
My mom's calling me for lunch. All right, I'm going to go get my peanut butter and jelly. I'll be right back.
we're coming back here.
Anybody want a high C?
Yeah, it was, it feels, I was watching my neighbor.
Uh-huh.
They have 2 kids. One was, she's got COVID right now, or she at the time, I should say.
Sure.
But little brother and sister, and they couldn't play together.
Oh.
One was dying because she wanted to get outside, and the other one, he's out there playing, but he's playing by himself, and he just didn't look like he was having the same fun.
Right.
But then I did see at the end of their driveway where their dad had kind of like used a snowblower and had this mound, and he had started to, you could see the start of like a cave.
Oh, nice.
Starting to happen.
That's cool.
So,
how about you, man? How about your week? Anything new and exciting?
nothing super exciting.
Mhm.
Watched a little bit of TV content. Coming off of a stinger of a weekend for the Packers.
Mm.
Yeah. And I said this to a friend of mine last night. If you're a casual fan of football, it was an awesome weekend.
Sure. Yeah.
All 4 games were exciting.
Yep.
And not decided until the very end.
Yeah.
So I have to, not that I hate it.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm a Cincinnati Bengals
Okay.
fan through the rest of the season.
Okay.
Because they're from the division.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see the Rams take care of the Niners now.
Yes. Yes.
I felt, I hate watching a favorite team in any sport lose a game. And but I hate watching them play a game that you realize and feel like they're not playing their game.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys are better than
They
this.
could win this.
Yeah.
They should have won this.
Man, I thought after the first drive, it was just kind of like, all right, 7 or 3 points just about every other time down the field.
Sure.
This will be great.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, and then you can argue, is it special teams that you put the blame on, or should it have come down to special teams?
Right.
Where's,
Yeah, if did you mess up because you let it come down to special teams?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then you look at it Monday morning quarterback stuff, which
Right.
how many times were other people targeted, and it was one or two guys dropped a ball here and there, and then it just became the Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams game,
Right.
and nobody else got any looks,
Right.
and it's like, but that's not this podcast.
No. No.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
catching up on different shows. Peacemaker, you've been watching that.
Yep.
And The Righteous Gemstones.
Yep.
Did we talk about? I ended up watching the end of Station 11.
Oh yeah, did you? I haven't started it yet.
Okay, so that ended after the last time we did this. It's good.
Yeah.
The whole story isn't quite as kind of like grand epic thing
as you think it could be,
as it was presented in the trailers and the teasers.
Okay.
And how the first couple of episodes was just like, where is this going?
Yeah.
It lands a little closer to a normal story.
Okay.
But still an exciting kind of fun, and
so it wasn't necessarily a letdown.
Wasn't necessarily a letdown.
Okay.
Some of that I think comes from my mind does the mental gymnastics and the hope and the assumption that
right. It'd be cool if and then it doesn't.
Or, boy, this could be a really big thing, and
sure,
it's not.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they weren't over promising that.
Right.
But and then the other thing, excuse me, that we didn't talk about, and I know that early on we felt a little bit different about how are you feeling now 4 episodes into the Book of Boba Fett?
Ah, yes, we have not talked about that. I mean, I guess spoilers don't really matter. I don't know if this is really a spoiler.
Sure.
I'm excited. Boba Fett is whole again.
Fully. Yeah, they made a point to say,
right,
you're fully healed.
Right. So I think that was my biggest kind of drawback is these first 3 episodes. It was like, this is not the bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I know, granted he's been in a Sarlacc pit and then in the waste for X amount of years, but I don't want to.
We did see him help out last season of The Mandalorian.
Right.
We did see a little bit of really cool Boba Fett.
Right. And that's why I was like, what's,
yeah,
I remember this, but I'm seeing this, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so, I said it, I think I said it the first time we recorded and talked about it. In Filoni we trust, right?
Yeah.
Like they're gonna land the plane the right way. It's good that he's back, and it's exciting to see, what happens. I liked kind of the backstory about Fennec Shand and kind of how some of that happened. And
it is nice to advance the story a little bit, but fill in the gaps time-wise to help people understand.
I was kind of getting sick of the flashback kind of stuff.
The flashback
yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, that's
you can boo me for that.
Yeah, it's good. I'm back in. I'm back.
Yeah.
My fears have been quelmed or whatever.
Assuaged.
Yeah, whatever.
Would you have felt better if it was told chronologically? If we didn't have the flashbacks, but just actually started with that story getting up to episode maybe 3 of arriving at the palace?
Maybe. Or maybe give me one full flashback episode to get me up to there.
Good point. Yeah.
But I don't think we needed it just felt like the first 2 episodes, at least. The third one's a little different. But the first 2 episodes felt like I was watching the same episodes, just different things happening in each one. It was like, here's a little bit of current timeline, and then let's go to a flashback and end the show on the flashback.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, if this is the whole thing, like, I don't like this format. It's gonna get interesting. It's I don't quite know what to think about our space hipster biker gang.
I have one issue with them.
Okay.
I know people complain about how slow the chase was or whatever.
Yeah.
My only major complaint of that is they just didn't seem to be dusty and lived on Tatooine.
Yeah, they're real nice and shiny, but so I've heard that too,
And it's
and
kind
I
of
feel
hot rod
that
cars and kind of
that if I had to think about the culture of those teenagers or
oh yeah,
however old they are, they're about appearance.
sure.
They're doing body modification. They need to look the coolest. They
Mhm.
need to act the coolest, and then their vehicles need to look the coolest. So, they're standing outside by their whips, and they're
you could boo him.
Yeah.
You get booed for that.
and they're wiping them off. They're polishing them up.
Sure.
I can see that. I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, though, it still feels. It doesn't feel like it fits yet.
Yeah,
It feels like
it doesn't feel like the same Tatooine that Luke Skywalker grew up on.
and it's. I mean, I think what we're learning is it's not.
Sure.
But I don't even think the concept art or the concept for those speeders feels like it fits in the world.
I would have totally accepted seeing a gang like that on Coruscant and Attack of the Clones.
Sure. Yeah. And maybe that's what they're seeing.
Sure.
Maybe it's like the kids growing up in the small town, looking at the magazines, seeing how the life in the big city is.
Right.
Maybe that's how they're acting.
And I get like it being like a nod to George Lucas and
right.
A little bit of American graffiti and the hot rod scene and the culture.
Yep.
I'm all for that. It just felt, and I'm not even bothered by it. I think the only thing that I would have expected to see a little bit more of is like the lived in. Like,
yeah,
it was just so weird to see that color so vibrant.
Exactly. It feels like there's
dust and dirt on it.
Maybe like one layer in Photoshop that they need to apply.
Yeah.
Like they forgot to put the final render on it. Yeah.
Just put a little debris on
just
it.
a little bit of grime, a little bit of wear, or
yeah. And make a point to show them polishing it over.
Or maybe just mute the color slightly. Mm-hmm. It's almost just too vibrant because it don't feel like we see that color in anything else. Mm-mm. Except maybe sometimes like skin tones.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why it feels so off, is because those colors aren't seen at other places.
Right.
But I'm in for Boba Fett. I'm back. I'm excited.
How about Black Chrysanthemum?
Oh, I know.
He's really cool.
I knew you would be like all about it.
Yeah, yeah.
He is great. He's mean, man. He's a mean dude.
I have a feeling that it's just going to end up with. I don't have a feeling. I could see them having Jabba's palace full of just all of these rogue characters.
Sure.
And filling it with these people he's kind of picking up along the way.
Yeah.
Just like Jabba did.
Yep.
Where you just look at the background and go, oh, that's this guy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Collection of rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how, the Rancor kind of plays into it now. And
I mean, it's obvious he's going to ride that thing.
Oh, I know.
It was just
immediately
obvious.
Well, he said it. He's like, I want to ride it.
Mm-hmm. So it's good. I have a feeling that he'll have just like this battle at some point where he rides it in and he's just got all these like crazy things.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. And then we'll get into the other segments.
Yeah, right.
The musical cue at the very end of the episode.
Okay.
Caught it, obviously.
Yeah.
Next episode or
maybe?
Or the last moment when you hope is running out?
I don't know. I don't know. I would be surprised if it's next episode. Mm-hmm. I feel like it. I think it's the same kind of beat that we saw in Mandalorian, where I hope it's not the same length, where we saw.
He was like on a seeing stone and talked to the Jedi, and then it was like 2 episodes later. Hey, guess what?
Yeah, or we saw, how we saw Boba Fett in like episode 1 or 2 in the, and then we didn't see him until way later. But yeah, I'm guessing maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
There's only 3 left, right?
Oh, so I guess 2.
So 7 episodes total.
Yeah, so not this week. So next week maybe
5, 6, 7. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch The Mandalorian, You don't have any idea what that little musical.
Yeah, you need to watch it. You got some homework to do before Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a lot of cross pollination for Boba Fett's story there too.
Yeah, you got about 24 hours to get on it if you're listening to this on release day.
Right. All right, man. Let's take a break.
Yep.
And then we'll come back and do some unboxing.
Sounds good.
2 little things to show off.
Okay.
All right, Luke.
We're back.
A couple things. We are back. We disappeared briefly.
Momentarily.
I've got a couple things to show you.
Yeah.
First one, we'll do the Nothing Ear 1.
Mm-hmm.
These are the earbuds. So let me pull up the camera here so I can kind of play to it for you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about these as well. Now, these are black. This is truly an unboxing. I have not even scored or done anything to pull it out.
Yeah.
So you can see. And I noticed this on pictures that they are very, very into the look and the cosmetic, like the appeal.
It's very like industrial, maybe cyberpunk techie kind of feel.
Yeah. I think there's design choices here that are very deliberate.
Yes.
And not just kind of like, this is our version of them.
Right.
Very deliberate. So these, and actually I'll give them over to you to take a look at if you wanted to. All right. So we're seeing immediately
they want to connect.
That these have Google Fast Pair.
They do.
So they want to pair automatically and walk you through the process of doing that on your phone, which is a nice thing that doesn't come with every set of earbuds.
No.
Traditionally, you go into Bluetooth settings and then you got to play around with it, give it a little bit of search. Do you know if it's pull out and you have it on one ear, is it, automatically trying to pair? Or do I have to hold down a button? Fast Pair takes care of that for you. I don't know if you can see that. A little bit of a glare. But these are very cool looking.
Yeah, they are.
And they have, maybe a little too close. These have a little bit of a stem to them.
It's not as long as I would have thought it was.
Yeah, I would have pictured maybe another third of that.
Yeah.
So these, pull up some specs for you, come with 34 hours of playback per the case. So that's going to be a combined play. These 34 hours, if you think about it, that's easily, if you're doing an hour commute to and from,
right,
that's really only, you're looking at 7 hours a week.
Yeah.
So if it's a couple hours at the gym, mixed usage maybe around the house, mowing the grass, picking up snow, leaves, and all that stuff, just using them regularly, this is the kind of thing that you're only going to charge really once a week,
if that, right?
So, and it has a USB-C plug in here, and these also charge wirelessly.
Oh, nice.
So you can put them on a wireless platter and charge them up. So that's a common thing in some of the more premium,
right?
earbuds.
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more.
And that's something that used to be reserved for just really high end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a feature creep or adding it in, start to expect that in your mid range.
Right.
Now these are only priced $99.
It's pretty good.
So these have an 11.6 millimeter driver.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good sized driver. It's going to have pretty nice sound.
Yep.
These come in black and white color options. So obviously what we have here are the black. These are going to be active noise cancellation.
Yep.
So that you can, if you're in an environment that's kind of got some white noise in the background, this is the type of thing that it's going to kind of clear that out. You're not going to hear like things bleed into your music,
right,
into your podcast or whatever you're listening to. IPX4 waterproof rating. So if you have, something that you want to wear, for a jog or a run, these are going to work just fine for that.
Right.
They're going to be resistant to water, resistant to a little bit of sweat, and they feel like they're going to clean pretty easily. Let's see what else is in the box here. You've also got your USB-C cable. And then looks like your user manual. And then you have a number of earplugs. So I've said this before. Most times earbuds are going to come with like a medium size, and they're going to give you one or two other sizes either above or below that. So these come with a small and a large. So these are going to give you two other sizes. And you can see they actually have it's pretty obvious that they do get bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
So I usually recommend for people plug in the ones that they give you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's going to work. And then if it's a little bit too snug, go with the smaller one. Or if you feel like it just kind of wants to fall out, go with the other larger one.
Sure.
So I'll be curious to check these out,
Yeah.
put them through, come back with a full review,
Mm-hmm.
and check out how these work in terms of sound quality, battery,
Yeah.
all that other fun stuff. So these are the Nothing Ear One
Yes.
earbuds. Also, I've got some other headphones for you.
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
take care of these for me.
Yep.
These are a little bit different. These are the Shokz OpenRun Pro.
Okay.
Now, these are bone conducting.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had a chance to play with
I have not.
bone conducting headphones?
Feels like future talk.
Well, it's not something that you're going to find in too many
Right.
companies. It is a very unique kind of experience. So the way they work is you put these on, and you can see in the photo here, they don't go in your ear. They're not over the ear cups. These will actually sit on your temples.
Right.
And they will kind of conduct the music, and you'll feel the music in your temples.
Uh-huh.
There's a little bit of sound that will bleed out so that you can kind of hear from it immediately.
Gotcha.
But it isn't something to where like you're walking around broadcasting like a speaker.
Sure.
So I've played a little bit with some bone conducting headphones in the past.
Yeah.
It is a little, I don't call it jarring. It's a
Uh-huh.
little foreign at first because you
Uh-huh.
feel like you're walking around broadcasting everything you're listening to.
Right.
Because you don't have something in your ear. You don't have something over your ear.
Right.
To me, it took some time to get used to because it felt as if
You're just on
everybody-
a
yeah.
loudspeaker
Yeah.
right by your ears.
as if everybody was going to look at me and go, dude, what?
Turn
are
it
you-
down.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Take those off, you know? So this one, let me see if I can get into it here. Is this one taped up?
I think you set off the car alarm.
Is that me over
Yeah.
there? It looks like it slides out. Give me just a second here. Luke,
This is a true unboxing.
this is a true unboxing.
So there's like bone conducting sunglasses now I've seen.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen many headphones or earbuds. I mean, these aren't.
I'm going to make this ugly. I don't want to tear
Yeah, it's fine. Hey, you did it.
this. Pushed out the other side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there aren't too many of these on the market.
Right.
It's kind of a, I don't say a niche thing, but this is something that this brand has done in the past. And it used to be called Aftershocks.
Right. I remember Aftershocks.
So they've rebranded as Shokz.
Yeah.
And I think they even renamed or rebranded some of their models to fall under line.
Oh, cool. Okay.
With the new one.
Mhm.
So get into the box here. Couple features. This is actually the 9th generation
Of these?
of their technology in
Wow.
bone conducting. So in the box here, we do have carrying case, which is kind of
That's cool.
not uncommon
Yeah.
for nicer headphones.
Right.
And then you've got your charging cable, and then there are your bone conducting. And these kind of go around the back of your head. I always think
Right.
of, are you familiar with Lobot?
Yeah.
From
Yeah, definitely.
Cloud City?
Yeah.
I always feel like it's a Lobot kind
Yeah.
of thing behind you.
Yeah.
But you put them on.
And they just
And they
press
just-
right onto the temple there.
Yeah. So
Nice.
they actually will sit right here.
Okay.
And when you, like I said, I think the first time or two, it feels like, man, everybody can hear me, right?
Right.
But not really, because
Interesting.
it kind of pushes the sound right back into your
Mm-hmm.
ears. And they have a little bit of a like a vibration, kind of the lows and things kind of come from you.
Interesting.
Kind of like uses you as the base.
Yeah.
So you can take a look at those.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are IP55 water resistant, so they are a little bit more resistant to rain. These are the kind of headphones that you want to have if you are a runner, somebody who's serious about, I mean, they're the OpenRun Pro. So if you're somebody who is serious about workouts and running and building, getting a big sweat when you're out there working out,
right?
These are going to clean up real easy. These have 10 hours playback per charge. So you can plug those in. 10 hours is quite a bit. If you're training for a marathon or actually running a marathon, you're looking at, a couple of days of usage out of that before you have to kind of charge those up.
Right.
Now they do charge really quickly. 5 minutes on the charger is reportedly good enough to give you 90 minutes of music playback.
That's pretty awesome.
So if you're heading out the door and you're like, oh man, I need to charge these up, or it's been a while, I don't know what kind of battery I have on these, plug them in, and by the time you get to the park, or if you're getting ready to leave the house, by the time you're done, you should have at least enough to get you through that workout.
Nice.
So here in the box, you also get, it's a USB cable, but it does have this little magnetic kind of conductor here that I just saw it here a second ago. That side. On the back of it, it just kind of bites it.
It's like magnetic,
and gives it a nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you know that it's on there. You don't have to go forcing anything.
The Active 3 watch that we reviewed a while ago is the same way. It has a nice magnetic charger that's just, it nestles right in the back exactly where it needs to and hits those points to charge. And
it was strong. It kind of pulled it in.
Yeah.
Instead of
it's really nice where you feel like, you don't have to worry about any kind of sometimes with micro USB or C, if it's a plug-in like that on something that might be set in your console of your car or something like that, you can feel like it might bend that if you don't get it in the right way, you're going to bend that prong on the ports or something and screw that up. The magnetic it's really awesome. I wish more people, and you see like third-party stuff where you can make your phone into a magnetic charge port on the bottom and stuff like that. That's really cool technology, and I would like to see more of that.
It does the work for you.
Yeah.
So you're not kind of like blindly fumbling and you don't know if it's a good connection or not. This, and you can tell right away when you do that, it just immediately pulls it in.
Right.
And holds it in real nice.
Yeah.
These are very light.
Yeah, they are.
You feel how they feel almost like just like a wire.
Yeah.
They have a nice like bounce to them. So if you put on your head, it's going to fit.
Right. And it's
without being like a fatigue.
But it also feels like enough tension where it's going to press those conductors against.
Right.
To be able to do what they're supposed to do.
Without fatigue.
Right.
At the same time. Like it feels like it's got a nice balance. So I will check those out, or you will check these out.
Sure.
We'll have a review on those.
Yeah.
These run about $180.
Okay.
So they're a little more pricey.
A little pricey.
They do come with a 2-year warranty.
Oh, that's great.
If you are a little bit more demanding,
sure.
If you have maybe a little harder on your stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can be hard on these and get away with that.
Right.
But just if you use headphones a lot and if there's anything that's going to go bad with them, you've got 2 years for that to go bad, and that's covered by Shokz instead of the 1 year that a lot of companies get. So I already know when it comes to reviewing these, you're going to get some extra marks for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are the Shokz OpenRun Pro bone conduction headphones.
Sweet.
All right.
We're going to get into some reviews now.
Yes. We'll take a quick break, come back, and you've got some scores for us.
That's true. See you soon.
All right, we're back with the third segment.
Yep.
Review time.
Review time.
Luke, this one's all you.
Yep.
2 things this week.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I had a chance. We did some unboxings last time, and I spent some time with 2 things, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. The first one is the CENGCEN dog camera treat dispenser.
Okay.
So it's a little kind of a mouthful, pun intended, maybe. I guess I don't know. So this thing's kind of cool, actually. It is a treat dispenser, but it also has a built-in camera and a speaker and microphone, so you can talk to your pet when you are not home.
Okay.
And you can give them treats. I was impressed by the build quality. In the unboxing, it was made pretty well, it seemed like, and when I got it home to put together and mount it on the wall, it comes with a mounting bracket, and it was super easy to set up that way. When you go in to actually start using it, you have to download a third-party app, and then you create an account, and you sync up your camera station, and then you're good to go. The thing actually works pretty well as far as being able to talk to it. Now my dog is notorious. She's a little over 2, and she doesn't understand screens at all.
Okay.
So like we've been watching a show with a dog, and she'll hear like a dog bark or something, and she'll look like at the window. She doesn't realize, and she doesn't understand the concept of a screen.
Sure.
We'll try and show her like a phone, like if it's like Google Duo or something with somebody that's not home.
Right.
And she just doesn't know where to look. She, which is fine. It's a dog, whatever. So when you go to communicate and say, "Hey, Sydney," she just confused. So she doesn't quite know where. You can see her on the camera going back and forth around to try and figure out. And I imagine after time, the dog would maybe learn, that's where the sound is coming from. She knows where the treat comes from, because the way it works is you hit a treat button, and there's a little kind of like wheel in there that has some sections in it. It'll take from the hopper at the top and kind of preload some snacks. And then when it drops in, there's a spring-loaded push, and it'll kind of shoot the treat out. Okay. Not high velocity. It's not going to hurt your pet or anything, but it does kind of shoot it out, and it'll go across the floor or whatever. I found that in testing it, the size of the treat really matters. So what we normally use for her is like a 1 inch by 1 inch kind of square biscuit kind of thing. Those are too big. Okay. So what they recommend is I think they said like a 1.14 centimeter treat. So pretty small, tiny treats. Sure. If you have a bigger dog, and Sydney's not that big, but if you have a bigger dog and it's used to bigger treats, might not be the thing for you. Right. So this is maybe made for, littler dogs.
Cats.
Maybe cats. Yeah.
Meow mix kind of.
Right.
Friskies things.
Right. So that's what I found. I thought maybe I just had it loaded in wrong, and then I did a little bit of research and looked at their manual, and it said in kind of their FAQ section of having problems with the treats, this is the recommended size. But overall, it's really cool. There are some it has a LED light on the side that let you know it's connected, and there's some little stickers that go over that if you don't want that to be seen. Okay. Or to be, it's not completely opaque, so you can still see the lights on that's connected, but it's not as bright. So it has a couple little features, and the fact that there's separate routing ways in the back for plugging it in. Oh, so if you want to run the cord this direction. Down or to the side or whatever. So it seems like they did a little bit of, there's some thought into kind of how it's made. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. Overall, I gave it a 3.25. Okay. So above average. Yeah. I think for me, the only hang-ups were you can only give 3 treats a day on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So not sure if like there'll be like a software update or something like that, or an option to change that, but depending on, I mean, I guess 3 treats a day while you're gone. I think they're probably thinking you're not going to be gone for that long, maybe.
Yeah.
But that can be,
Yeah.
that can be maybe on the low side. To me, it seems kind of okay. You don't necessarily want to give your pet a bunch of treats all the time.
Sure.
So I think maybe that's the mentality they were going with. So it's not just an always
Just a
spam,
constant, yeah.
But
Interesting.
that's one thing that's kind of weird. And that's what you see a lot of the feedback too, is people saying, I don't understand a limit on the treats.
Mm-hmm.
If I buy this, I should be able to give my pet as many treats as I want or whatever.
Sure.
But, anyway.
Or if you have a bigger pet and you had to switch to smaller treats,
maybe a couple treats.
Maybe you'd like to be able to shoot out 2
exactly.
or 3.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing is just the app interface is pretty good, but it's not great.
Okay.
You can give people access to the app. So if I wanted to, give my wife access so she could log in and give the dog a treat, or the kids or something like that, you can do that. The only downside is they also have to sign up for an account. You can't just share a phone number.
Okay.
So that's a little bit of, it feels wrong. Like, I guess I understand it, but it feels a little bit of a bait and switch of kind of like or maybe like a email gathering kind of thing. Like it just feels something about it. Like it's okay if I sign up for the account and want that, but if I want to give somebody else access, it's still my account.
Sure.
They shouldn't have to put in their information and make an account. But overall, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. It's a cool thing. I don't know how much we'll actually use it. Like I said, because of the treat size just for our particular dog. But I imagine if it was a smaller, if our dog was used to smaller treats, this would work great.
Yeah. And one thing that I've just encountered with other dispensers, and it's not exclusive to this one, a more moist treat tends to work better too.
Well, so that's the one thing also they say is don't use any wet treats or any sticky treats.
Interesting.
Probably, well, there's 2 reasons I think, is just the hopper mechanism and the wheel. Things could get stuck in there. And then the other thing is if you ask about cleaning it, they say the insides are not waterproof, so don't run it through with water. So they're thinking the way the hopper's made, probably nothing wet in there is the best, thing. Because if it sits for too long, maybe it gets hard and maybe messes up the gears of the hopper. Who knows?
The reason I say that was, and it could be the way the other one was designed, was more of a cylinder. Yeah. And it kind of turned this direction. Yeah. And then dropped them down and shot it out. Yeah. As
more like a classic gumball kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I found that by the time it got to the bottom and then kicked out the treat, that if it was a drier type of treat, it would kind of explode it. Yeah. So it would like crumble. Gotcha. So then every so often you kind of take your finger and you're fishing out little crumbs. So that's the only reason I suggested that. Gotcha. But that makes sense if it works in a different manner.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool after it, it has this wheel and it comes down and, the treat is up here in the hopper and it takes it kind of like a revolver almost. Yeah. And then drops it down. And then there's this little mechanism that just kind of pushes it out and shoots it out. And it's got a little bit of force. It's on a spring, so it will shoot it out. But it's cool, man. The sound works good. You can hear the video quality is pretty good. I would say it's probably dependent on your light in your room. It's not something that if you have it in a room, in the evening and you have the light off and you're not going to see great. Sure. But in, during the day, if the windows, shades drawn, even if it's daylight, I had no problem seeing through the camera. It doesn't have any motion detection or anything. So it's not something made for like security cameras or, it's not going to add to your home security, but it is good for what it does for, a pet and talking to your pet.
And how much does this cost?
This is $110.
Okay.
So it's not bad. I feel like that's a fair price given the build quality of it and the features it does have. It like we said on the unboxing, it is a 2.4 gig and 5 gig wireless network. So it's made to work a little bit better than most things we've seen working on Wi-Fi. And it has a 16 gig flash memory, so you can hold like 36 hours of video. So you can also record your pet too.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it. It's pretty sweet.
Right on. And that was the CENGCEN?
CENGCEN dog camera treat dispenser.
All right. Thank you, Luke.
No problem. And then for the second thing, it is the OnePluds Buds Z2.
Okay.
So we reviewed the OnePlus Buds Pro, and then we got the Z2 in. These are a earbud style with a little tiny stem. They have 11 millimeter diameter drivers. It has active noise canceling. It also has a transparency mode. So I took these on my trip. So I put them through the paces, being on a plane, all that kind of stuff. What better way to test this out and see how it works? The noise canceling, the active noise canceling works great. It works really well. The transparency is awesome too, because you can toggle it on and off with a long press. You can toggle it, and then you can hear, if you hear a ding for, the captain coming on the speaker or flight attendant or something, or if you hear something in the airport, if they're announcing anything, you can go over to that mode without having to pull out an earbud and pause whatever. You can also just hear without having to take it out. That's nice. These have Bluetooth 5. So no problem. Quick connect.
Yeah, these try to do the fast pair, right?
Yep, okay. They have fast pair. And that works fine. And the battery life on these is insane.
Okay.
Like, it really works well. I did a kind of a comparison on the way out. I wore my Pixel Buds, and then on the way back, I wore these, and I found that by the end of the day, I had my earbuds in probably from the time I left to arriving with my layover. I just wore earbuds the whole time in the airport too. I was probably 6 hours continuous, and my Pixel Buds were at like around 60%. These were at like 85.
Okay.
So the battery was great. It's going to last a while, and it's OnePlus, so it's fast charging.
Yeah.
That worked fine. I think my only gripe with these is the push button. It's kind of a touch button for the ears.
Yeah. To
toggle or to pause or change the tracks or anything like that, to toggle the sound profile from active noise canceling to transparency. That button is hard to learn the placing of it.
And it's nothing worse than trying to do it blind.
Right.
You have to take it out, look at it, and see where you're touching.
Right.
Okay.
Or you get to tapping a couple times, and then all of a sudden you pause it and you're like, oh wait, where did I hit?
Where was did I hit 2 in the same spot?
Yeah, it's like a delay or so I think that's my only gripe with him. And I looked at the instructions. I looked on, how to do it, and they give you clear instructions on how to play and pause or answer a call, to skip a track or go back a track or change the mode. So I knew how to do it, but I just still couldn't get it to work flawlessly. Now, just like with anything, given time of living with them, you'll probably get used to it. But first blush, not a great experience. Wasn't terrible. They still, sound quality is great. They sound great. The active voice canceling is great. The battery life is great. The form factor is good. I don't love a stem style. I like a more of an earbud style, but it wasn't intrusive.
Yeah.
The stem is small enough that I didn't feel like it was in the way. I didn't find myself, having to finagle on where it sits or keep it in my ear. I use just the standard earbud that came on it, so I didn't have to change it to a smaller one or a bigger one. They have different sizes in there. So it seated correctly in my ear and it sounded fine. I think my only complaint is just that actual using them, trying to get that button to work was, less than ideal for me.
So how would you score these overall then?
Overall, these were like a 3.94.
Okay.
So like almost there.
Right.
Almost to an editor's choice.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably say they could probably get a 4. These things are great. They really are. I don't see, as far as what you get for the price, I don't see much better of an option. We've reviewed a lot of earbuds in the past, and that $100, these are, I think on sale maybe right now is $90, but normally $99. For that price point, these get you a whole lot of features and the battery life to back it up,
right? And
the fast charging that OnePlus has. It's going to be hard to beat these things. But I think you have to decide on, do I like a stem style? Do I like, the form factor of the case? It's not the smallest we've seen. So if it's traveling in your bag, that's one thing. But if you have it in your pocket, it's another thing. It's not huge, but it's more, looks like a pill, a giant pill versus, we've seen these kind of flat squares boxes that are kind of been the normal lately. But overall, yeah, man, I really liked them. And that's the OnePlus Buds Z2.
All right. Thank you, Luke.
No problem.